Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org. Consequence and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks for making your way here, for checking out the series. You know what to do. If you like what you see, what you hear, hit that subscribe button. I put out new interviews just like this one every single week, and it's a great way to keep up with all of your favorite artists. I'm so excited today to have one of the great ones, Jeff Tweedy. He's back with a triple album called Twilight Override. Hi, man.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. It's great to see you on here. I was thinking beforehand, I was laughing because I've had Nick Offerman on here on this
Oh yeah.
show probably three times, and every single time I believe we've talked about you.
Well, that because we're in love.
But it's the first time I've had you on here. I mean, I can't say he hasn't told anything that's not already out there because he put you in a book as well. But if there's anything that you need to air out about Nick Offerman, now is probably the time. So
I I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's all he's exactly as he appears to be, a
yeah,
absolutely adorable human.
adorable human. He's a good guy, and sound like you guys have gone on some good adventures together. Anyway,
Yep.
yeah. Well, man, Twilight Override. Yes. You hear about the record, right? And it's 30 songs, and you say triple album, and you go, okay, has he gone full Billy Corgan on this thing? What is this?
Full Billy.
And and it's not that, I mean, that I really do have to compliment you. It would be so easy for this to be a mess. It would be so easy for so much of this to be a throwaway thing. We've seen that in the past. This ain't that. I mean, and I shouldn't be surprised because you are one of the great songwriters, but this is an incredible record. And I could do an interview over each disc, but what's the story? What's the general story here? How did you land on this?
Um, well, I've done a few solo records in the past 10 years, and I did a record as Tweedy, which was kind of a solo record. And the general process for the solo records has been that I kind of play everything, and Spencer and Sammy on the most recent stuff. My kids, end up coming in, and it mostly falls under the purview of Tweedy musicianship or singing. But we've put together a band that's been together for a while now to go out and play these songs on Warm Warmer and Love is the King and those records. And I always come home from those tours and those shows feeling like we've kind of improved the arrangements with the amount of voices that we have. We have Seema Cunningham and Macy Stewart, and that's Phenome, and Liam Cunningham or Liam Kazar, and he sings great. And I don't know, we've kind of developed all these vocal harmonies for songs that don't really have them on the previous records. And so I don't know, I just got it in my head. I wanted to write a lot of material for those voices, and thinking that we'd go out and start from that point, instead of ending up there. And I guess that felt kind of inspiring to me, just because I just kept adding to the pile. And we kept recording, and um, it just kept getting deeper and more substantial. And then it felt to me like that was a part of the statement of the record, is for it to be um, big-hearted and open, and like oversharing, maybe to some degree. But grandiose isn't really the right word, but expansive, just like in a different time we might say letting it all hang out or
Sure.
something. I don't think that sounds very good. But just an openness, it was just an open hearted, big hearted kind of display of affection. I don't know. I love writing songs. I love singing with these people. I love playing music with my family, and I love reaching out and making a connection. And over time, and I also kind of put together a little bit of a story
Yeah.
that made sense with these three records. Not necessarily a concept, but a flowing arc. I think it's sequenced, to me, it's sequenced in a way that doesn't feel like a triple record. Um, I can listen to it all in one sitting, and if I can, then surely there's one or two of you out there that might be able to.
I did that exact same thing yesterday. I went on a very long walk and it was because you're right. It doesn't feel like it. And I think that's aided sometimes by you do a good job of pacing and some songs are, quite short in the idea of what, a pop song can be. Um and with this idea that you at least wrote about in this, but by the way, beautifully written album bio that you put out there about, sort of the past, present, and future and
Mhm.
looking at it like that. And in that same bio, you sort of talked about how, of course, I don't know if escape is the right word, but what's going on in the world,
Mhm.
it was a kind of way to get past that.
Mhm.
And I'm bringing that up because I've quoted one of your lines. God, I hope I've quoted it right for years now. And it actually brings me comfort when I
Mhm.
say every generation thinks it's the end of the world.
It's, I think it's true. I think it's a human, a human flaw, maybe, that we have trouble seeing past ourselves,
Mhm.
and it seems like we know that we're mortal. We know that there's an end, but we don't really have the imagination to picture a world without us. I think um, I first noticed that feeling when I felt betrayed driving by my old high school after I graduated. I'm like, what are they doing? What are these people doing there?
Doing everything just without you, as
Yeah,
they
it's
did
like, oh,
before
they're
you,
still
right?
there. Why would they bother?
But that's
I thought they were just there to torment me.
and in some hellscape of your past, they still are, right? That's
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's like I relive that all the time.
What's there's a line on here. I'm always going back there again and again from Forever Never Ends.
Yeah,
Is that what we're hitting on right there? It's a
kind of.
therapist's dream if we are. It's
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we all probably need a little therapy at this moment or from time to time, but
Mhm.
specifically at this moment, it feel like I'm walking around seeing a lot of traumatized people, not just even politically. I think culturally, post-pandemic, I think that there's a lot of uh, whatever, untreated, undiagnosed, and maybe ignored or hoping it'll go away kind of feeling surrounding a very real generational trauma, you know.
Mhm. But the way, I guess, go back to what we were talking about too, because the way you framed some of this stuff, I guess we get really our first dose of that in parking lots,
Mhm.
as we're in the past version of this concept there. Which, by the way, the delivery, like I could not hear King Missile just a little bit
Oh, wow. Yeah.
in
Well,
there.
there's a
But but
there's a
that's
little
it. Like
in me
it.
probably.
What's that?
There's a little shimmy disc in me probably.
Right.
Weren't they on King? Weren't they on shimmy disc? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right, right, right. But that's what I'm saying. But that, to hit back at those parts, and it's done in a funny way. Like parking lots, it's not funny, but it is.
Hmm.
Forever Never Ends has a fun story on there. I mean, are these because the songwriter can mumble some words into a microphone to figure out some words and then kind of put it together afterwards? But there's something about this that feels really biographical, I guess.
No, it's definitely especially on the first disc, but throughout the record, there are, um, I think that there's abstractions and there's songs that are like pure word poetry and sounds and stuff like that. But I think it to me it deepens it when you actually look at the camera and remind people that you are a person that has had real experiences and you're not just making it all up, and that this is uh funny and important, and and sad and liberating, and like all, it's like a lot of things, and that's one of the reasons I guess it felt right to make it a 30 song record, because to me every sequence I tried to make of one record felt like it was missing some of that conversation between um dissonance and harmony and I don't know, just the way lives are, and it really is the thing. there's a it really is this is the thing that has provided consolation to me my whole life. Not just my own music, but other people's music, but the process of making music. Um, and I think I say in my bio that, you know, there's maybe a reason there's a lot of it going on,
Yeah.
because I think it's a healthy, pretty whatever, healthy adaptation to the current environment. You know, it's like
Creativity eats
trying to
darkness.
stay in some spot where you have some power, over things, and
Yeah.
making you can, I don't know, I think a healthy reaction to the inhumanity that we witness on a daily basis through our devices, and is to say, well, I reject that. I reject that. I reserve the right to envision a beautiful world, and I reserve the right to make my world, past, present, and future, poetic and worthy of light. You know.
Yeah. That's very important. I mean, obviously, because it's so easy to get caught up
Mhm.
in it. It's so easy to get sucked into some kind of spiral vortex that that you just repeat every single day. Headline, 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 headline.
Yeah, it's like a mental. I mean, it really. I feel like everybody, not everybody, that's too broad, but
Sure.
I think a lot of us, and myself included, have spent a lot of the last 10 years or so waking up every morning and putting ourselves into a cage
Mhm.
voluntarily, waking up and putting ourselves in a cage, turning around and locking it, and then throwing the keys out of reach, and it's a really hard habit to break. But it doesn't, that's what it feels like to me.
Mhm.
It feels like, well, how did I get here? Well, I mean, should I be waking up thinking about things I have little control over and people that I despise and think
Mhm.
every morning? Is that a good way to live your life, or are you wasting the opportunity to, um, I don't know, think and feel freely how
Sure.
you want to feel?
Yeah.
And um, I don't think that I'm advocating for anybody ignoring. I don't think it's possible to ignore,
Mhm.
the important issues if you're a thinking, feeling person, and being aware is different than what we're talking about. I think there's some part of us that it gets like satisfying. There's some biological reason I think people thrive on some outrage or something, like they figured that out, in terms of social media, what's really happening. And um so I don't know, this is what happens when I try and do a lot less of that. I guess I write even more songs than in my already kind of prolific nature.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's really poignant when we look at that third disc too, because you call that future, and
Mhm.
this isn't a
Mhm.
dystopian record by any means,
Mhm.
which would be an easy route. And great albums, right? There are great albums about stuff like that. And like, what did you want that disc to say, if you don't mind such a broad question?
Um, well, I think it's more, to me, where that record, what ended up on that record are the things that illustrate to me that it's not predictable. It's less, even the intrusions of the past that are on the disc, that in the whatever would be called the future, aren't predictable. Like, I don't know if different memories of my past are going to happen in the next few years, because that that happens.
Mhm.
You forget about things, and then all of a sudden, a relatively insignificant part of your life that you thought you had bypassed, even ever thinking about again, asserts itself in some way that, is transformative, or that you realize that that was a bigger moment than you thought it was. But I guess in general, uh, uh, what it looks like to me is, um, what am I trying to say? Uh, I think, I guess. what I would hope that it communicates is uh, encouraging in myself and others a deeper belief in radical self individual expression,
Yeah.
individuated expression, and I don't I don't think you picture that you make a beautiful future without um, being able to dream it up, being able to allow your mind to stay in a place that it contains just enough hope to picture something better, you know.
I like that line because the whole thing ends with enough, which is funny because you've got a song called "This Is How It Ends," and that's not how the album ends. But it's hard to stay in love with everyone, and there's a negative version of that line, and there's a very positive version of that line. Like
Yeah,
like the fact that you even want to says a
yeah.
lot.
I thought that I could have whittled the whole record down to a couple of lines, and
Yeah.
that's one of them. It's hard to stay in love with everyone. I could have just printed that out in a text or something to everybody.
It's a cool, I mean, that's a great song too. And I want to quickly hit because I know we only got a few minutes here, but the music on here too. Like, pick your 20, right? That's the thing. I think I think maybe Bull Black Nova sits on the top for me. It always has. It's as long as it's existed. Immediately. I love that song. I love the feel of that song. There's a lot of feeling of that song on this record.
Yeah,
We talk about that dissonance and harmony, right? That's all over the music of this. Maybe that's natural. Is there any reason why you kind of gravitate towards? Because you got these beautifully messy solos on here. Even I don't know if I have the title right. Love is for love.
mhm,
Like it's almost like Willie Nelson's version of a solo like that, you know? Like
right.
I love that stuff.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I let myself play a lot more guitar on this solo records more recent, like I think in general in the last few years I've played more. I mean, I have Nels Klein and Wilco, and over time I've kind of centered my, role in Wilco more around the acoustic guitar and expressing myself lyrically. Um, I think that that's not to say that that won't change in Wilco either. Like that there's room on stage for sure when Wilco plays. There's room for three guitar players or more. Like
Mhm.
um,
Bring it.
yeah, but uh, yeah, I think that there's a personal nature to the well, very individuated self-expression. I don't think that I wouldn't want anybody to try and sound like me. I don't think I'm trying to sound like anybody, although I can hear elements of different people that I've loved playing the guitar. But mostly it's just I'm not worried about any technique other than my own. And it feels really, really good to me in the same way that it feels good to sing a lyric that I feel that I believe in.
Mhm.
And so I think I let myself do a little bit more of that. And again, that's one of those things where if you didn't put out a triple record, if you didn't have this expansive nature, you would cut down on some guitar solos and you would like eliminate that I don't know, that type of communication.
Yeah, that's some of my favorite moments of this record too. And when you get to that song, Lou Reed was my babysitter. Like that starts to make a lot of sense when you hear that stuff in there. That's
Yep.
yeah, that's cool. And I'll quickly say because this I think hilariously comes out on the 30th anniversary of Wilco, right? That's this year. It's like
Does it?
I
Is
think
it?
was it 95? I hope I'm getting my math
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, and I just thought a lot of people go for the big cash grab tour, 30th anniversary tour, the big bucks. What's
Yeah.
Jeff Tweedy say? Triple solo album.
Yeah. Right. Well, we've resisted a lot of nostalgia for a long time. I mean, as a band, I think that we've consciously tried to avoid being sentimental about our own uh, history, or I don't know. I just feel like it's a trap. And, if we were a band that had broken up and gotten back together after 20 years or something like that, maybe that would make more sense. But we've tried to like justify our existence by making new records and standing behind them and trying to at least communicate that we're an ongoing endeavor, as opposed to something. I mean, we did some shows reliving, some past albums. We did Yankee Hotel
Mhm.
Foxtrot in its entirety, and it felt really beautiful, like a real celebration. But it would it wasn't like we could play those songs like that back then.
Sure,
We were
sure.
actually using the history and the feeling that has grown up around that record just to kind of celebrate it.
Yeah. I love what you all do. I love what you do with your family and the Tweety stuff and Twilight Override. Seriously, Jeff, this is such a good record, and there's so much just to live with.
Uh-huh.
That
Thank
I'm
you.
so happy you did. So congrats on it, man. And seriously, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about it.
My pleasure. And say hi to Nick next time you talk to him.
Well, I'm sure to be sooner than later. Seems
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Take care. We'll see you around.
See you. Thank you.
And thanks to my guest. Also, thanks to you for checking out the episode in the series. Before you get out of here, hit that subscribe button. Again, you get 3 brand new interviews every single week. New one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at right here on YouTube, or of course anywhere in podcast land, including iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, or WFPK.org as well. A great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover new ones as well. Then after that, actually head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, Facebook, Instagram, mostly on Twitter. All 3 of them, the address is at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.